afternoon, folks. Jake with V from here, and this is an edition of Psycho Clown World Financial Reset. This has been, I know a lot about it. It's been on my mind, in the back of my mind, a little bit here and there, but it's been getting a lot of attention lately. So I wanted to give my input on this global financial reset coming, the financial crash, things that are going to happen, things I know that will happen, and then my input on what I think will happen. And I'm not a financial advisor. I want to put this out there, disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I am not a financial professional. However, with that being said, I also used to be a life insurance agent, also selling annuities and Roth IRAs, those kinds of things for a company called Primerica. Okay, I did that for a little while in Michigan, and I'll tell you, Michigan was a pretty tough crowd where I was at. Getting people to people being so closed-minded and not realizing the better way of trying to invest your money and stuff. So they're very closed-minded up there. It's really insane. But anyway, so one of the things that I've been getting sent some information on, and a particular person in my life that whom I love very dearly, Kay, has been sending me stuff about gold, and that's been the primary discussion, is about gold investment companies, stuff like that. So I'm going to touch on the gold. I'm going to touch on gold first. Okay, that's going to be my first avenue. When it comes to gold, one of the things that we have to take in consideration is gold is an asset. It's a physical asset. It's going to be there for a while. Now, we also happen to know that there's been over $400 quadrillion worth of gold that has been found under the Vatican. Okay, so when you look at supply and demand, right now, the way that the gold inflation, and it's all inflation, silver inflation, same thing. It's all gold and silver price manipulation. As of right now, once the dollar actually collapses, because it's going to collapse no matter what, we are living in a bubble of inflation. Okay, and we all know this. I mean, go to the gas station and you'll figure that out real quick. Go to the store and start noticing that your stuff is going up in price. It's an inflation bubble. Eventually, that inflation bubble, it's going to pop. Plain and simple, it's going to pop. So when it pops, where's the base? Because it's bubbled up, but there's still a base that's holding everything up. So there's a base number. Okay, so that base is prices like it was in 1960s. Okay, like 1967, 1968 era, before things really started to begin to inflate a little bit, and then they kind of brought it back down. Then it's inflating. So it's in this huge bubble, and it's gonna pop. All monies in all countries, for the most part, are pegged to the U.S. dollar. Not all of them. Like Russia's not. Russia's gone independent. China's gone independent. China's got the yuan. Russia's got the ruble. Okay, and the ruble is backed by gold. Plain and simple. They said, if you want to do business with Russia, you're going to be doing it in ruples, because ruples is backed by gold. We don't care. Now, the U.S. dollar, and this is where the U.S. kind of had a monopoly on the world for a little while. The only way that you could buy crude oil or natural gas or gasoline, diesel, those kinds of, any kind of petrol products, that had to be purchased with the U.S. dollar, which is why the United States has what's known as the petrodollar. That's what our dollars. It's all backed by petrol. Okay, so the only way any other country could buy anything was with the U.S. dollar, which is why everybody was pegged to the U.S. dollar, because everybody uses oil, diesel, gas, natural gas, those kinds of things, right? So when the U.S. dollar crashes, and it's going to crash, the inflation is just redonkulous. Okay, so when the U.S. dollar crashes, the whole world's going down with it. And that's plain and simple. The whole dollar, all currencies are going down, with the exception of those that are not pegged to the dollar. And right now, I believe Nigeria is not pegged to the dollar as well, and in fact, and neither is Saudi Arabia. A lot of your foreign currencies, like the Iraqi dinar, they're pegged, but they actually depegged from the dollar. Iran, and a lot of them, they're big oil producers, especially Nigeria. And a lot of people don't even know that they're actually one of the bigger producers for OPEC. So when that dollar crashes, what's going to happen? It just makes sense, common sense, right? Everybody else is going to go down with it, except for a few countries. Now, with that being said, gold. We're going to get back onto the gold, okay? We're going to end up having a new currency. Okay, it's called the rainbow dollar. And please, by all means, go on YouTube, put in your search engine, rainbow dollar currency. and start looking at some of the videos. There's actually videos of the rainbow currency and what it's going to look like. And each note, whether it be $1, $5, $10, 20, whatever, they actually have trace elements of gold and or silver inside of them. They are holographic. They are impossible to reproduce, to be able to do your counterfeiting. They're impossible to counterfeit, just like the Iraqi dinar, impossible to counterfeit. Okay, so we're going to have those backings to kind of help us out for the next set around. If you look at Venezuela, when they popped, because in Greece they had this huge, inflammatory interest bubble, and then all of a sudden it popped, and what did they do? They come out with a new currency, but the prices were right back down to where it was. It's going to be the same thing that's going to happen here and everywhere else. So once that bubble finally pops, it's coming back down to the baseline. Okay, now with that baseline in effect, look at the cost of gold in 1968. Okay, it was like around $700 an ounce, $700 an ounce, versus what it is now, like $1,900 an ounce. Okay, now, and I'm just giving you rough numbers. I don't know the exact number right now, but I've seen it at 1,900. So $1,900 an ounce now versus 700. If you spend now this is me. If you're gonna, I would not go with any investment company. I would not. Let's say that you have $500,000 and you want to purchase $500,000 worth of gold at a gold investment company. Don't do that. You're an idiot if you do that. And I'm going to tell you why. Guess who owns the gold? The banks, not the investment company. They're investing. They're not the owners. They're not the owners of the gold. The only time that you want to invest in gold is if you are holding on to that physical gold and silver. Other than that, you might as well just go throw your money in the bank. And when the money crashes, you're not going to get anything out of the bank. So you're now from that perspective and that thought process, you'd be wiser to hold on to your cash, in my opinion, or definitely wiser to hold on to the gold. However, I would not spend that much money on gold, and I'm going to tell you why. Let's say that you spend $1,900 an ounce, right, on gold. Let's say you spent $500,000 on gold coins and ounces in ingots, bars and stuff like that. So now you have $500,000 worth of gold that you just purchased in today's value of currency. Okay. If once that interest bubble pops and it all comes back down, the prices are going to be like they were back in 1968. So now that $1,900 an ounce in gold is now only going to be worth $700 worth of gold. You just deflated your money. Your money just went down in value. Now, when the dollar crashes, if you have currency, actual cash fiat currency, it's going to have to be exchanged at a 1-to-1 rate. Because if they didn't do that, they would have a complete out of control anarchy uprising of the people in the United States. I mean, it would be absolute civil war pandemonium. They're not going to want that. So you're going to be able to exchange your dollar for the new rainbow currency from the U.S. Treasury, not fiat currency. It'll be U.S. Treasury, okay, not IRS fiat money, okay? So when you do that and you exchange even for even, you're actually keeping the value of your money. It's going to stay the same. Okay, now this is my thought process on it. Okay, this is my logical sense thinking this, and a lot of people think, oh no, you want to have the gold and silver. Well, why? I just told you that the price of gold and silver, it's going to come back down to where the way it was in the late 60s. Why would you want to hold on to gold and silver if it's going to devalue? Now, on top of that, of course, we know about all that extra gold that was found under the Vatican. Over $400 quadrillion worth of gold was found under the Vatican floor, in their basements, in those tunnels. Supply and demand. There's a whole bunch of supply, and there's not going to be a whole lot of demand. The value of gold is coming down, folks. It's going to come way down. In fact, it's going to go below than what it was in the 60s, in my opinion, because of that. And then if you look at the cost of silver, silver's been manipulated too. Silver is actually going to go up in value way more than gold because there's more silver underground that are still in the mines that they haven't even pulled out yet. So silver is going to go up in value. Should you buy silver? Yeah, I think so. But I don't think you should have a whole crap ton of it, because at the end of the day, if things go in a bad way, when the bubble pops, if things go in a bad way, how good is that gold or silver going to do you in buying anything if you can't buy anything? That gold and silver is going to be useless. It's going to be pointless. You can't eat gold and silver. You can't drink it. What's the point of having the damn stuff then? You're going to want food. You're going to want water. You're going to want to have some food storage, freeze-dried foods, canned foods. If you actually have a garden and you can do your own canning, by all means, that's the best and healthiest way, because then you ain't got all kinds of preservatives and bull crap in it. Okay, you want to have food supply. You want to have some water supply. And if things get bad enough where they're turning power off and you ain't got no way to heat your home, you're going to want to have some form to heat your house. I actually have a 55-gallon steel drum that I have converted into a wood-burning stove. and I've got pipes and everything to go out to, go out through the window, and wood to kind of block it up, and aluminum. I mean, I've got the whole thing, so that way we could stay warm in the wintertime. Okay, I have these things for a reason. Now, am I 100% correct on this? I don't know. But if you put your logical brain on for a minute and you think about that, when it pops, and that's the thing, when it pops, everything drops. Gold and silver, price is coming down. And then once the market gets flooded with gold, I mean, there was enough gold that was found under the Vatican to supply every human being on this planet with $10 million US. Think about that. And from things that I've been seeing, and this is all part of the Nasara and Jasara, it's going to be redistributed. People are actually going to have this money. See, there's a lot of people on earth that are going to wind up being lazy. Now, there's not going to be a lot of people working, because why do you need to work? I mean, why are we working? We work to get money so that we can survive. Well, now you're not going to need all that. But there's still going to be some people that are going to have to work. I mean, people are going to want homes built, stuff like that. So it's going to be a very complicated and very strange situation that we're going to be in on this planet. That's never happened before in our lifetimes that we've even heard of. Now, has it happened? I'm sure it has, but it's been erased from memories. It's been erased from the history books. His story, he who wins the war writes the story. His story, history. So that's something that we have to keep in mind. So the best things that are going to really, I think, are going to survive for peoples is communities where you have, somebody that has, foreign currency. Now, I've invested, and I have in my possession foreign currencies of things that I know that are going to make an impact, that where I can put myself in a better position. Okay, one of those is with buying property and land, and I plan on having a community going on. That's my plan, and having a garden, having permaculture, having fruit trees and fruit plants and vegetables, cucumbers and zucchinis and squash and green beans, carrots, potatoes, all that kind of stuff. And then taking it and also canning it for food storage. Absolutely. So that's my, and honestly, that's my idea of a little slice of heaven. When you have communities that are living together harmoniously with the same goal of not just surviving, but also living freely and happily in love. And everybody contributing to the garden, to the permaculture, to the pond. Having a pond, with fish in it. Meat source. Meat protein source for those that that are going to be eating meat. And then having the water, and then also having chickens for eggs and for fertilizer for your plants, for your permaculture. And then if you have fish in your pond, you can take the water from the pond and you can use it because you got your, it's got its own ecosystem. You got fish poop and fish pee along with your chicken. That's like fertilizer, natural fertilizer for your gardens and for your permaculture. And then you just take water from another source, fill it back up in your pond as you're draining it off. Also have rain collection. You can do rain collection too. Have it hooked up to the gutters of your home and have them going into huge containers collecting that rainwater. Rain collection. And governments are trying to make it illegal for you to do that. But anyways, to get back to the gold thing. Gold and silver can't be ate. You can't eat it. You can't drink it. It's almost pointless. Now, granted, it's going to have its place. Now, when it comes to cryptocurrencies are going to have a vital role in moving things forward. I have a feeling that we're going to wind up going with crypto. It's going to wind up being all electronic, digital, cryptocurrency, one world. We're going to wind up having some coins after, and the whole world is going, from some of the stuff I've researched, a lot of countries, it doesn't matter where I'm at. So if I have a 1, a 5, a 10, a 20, whether it be a bill or whether it be a coin being made out of gold or silver or whatever, it doesn't matter where you go in the world because the whole world is going to have the same denomination. So one US dollar or US Treasury note dollar would be worth £1 or 1 ruble or 1 won. So it doesn't matter where I go. I can take the coins out, spend it, and they'll just be like a number 1 on it, or a number 2 or a 5 or a 10. And everybody will know the numbers and know exactly what it is. So it doesn't matter where you go. You're going to be able to spend it unilaterally and everything's going to be at the same price globally. That's the way the whole world honestly is going to move forward, is by everything being similar in price, by having that kind of a system. And I can see the wisdom in that. Is it a little scary and weird? Yeah, a little bit. But at the same time, it's also a necessity for the whole world to evolve as a plan, as a whole. Things have to go that way. Okay, so cryptocurrencies, yes, you'll be able to do a lot of international transactions. I also happen to know that XRP and XLM, those two guys are going to survive. Bitcoin's going to wind up going crashing down. It's tied to the Three Gorges Dam with the power. That's where they get their power from for the Bitcoin. And if you haven't paid attention to what's going on in China with the Three Gorges Dam, you might want to do some research and look it up. I mean, the water is literally flooding over the top of it. It's about ready to break. They've been evacuating people on the south side of the Three Gorges Dam for months now. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people are being evacuated because they know that it's going to go. They know, and as soon as that thing goes, Bitcoin's down. All Bitcoin, everything that's tied to Bitcoin, and in that same loop that their links, it'll immediately zero out. It'll be done. XRP and XLM, they're ISO 2022 or 22,022 whatever compliant, which is asset backed. XRP is backed by gold, XLM is backed by silver, and there's a few others that are backed by palladium and diamonds and stuff like that. So you want to have some kind of an asset backed cryptocurrency if you're going to buy any. Now, when you buy it, you don't want to use a wallet like Coinbase. Coinbase has actually said themselves that if we go bankrupt, you're going to lose all your money. They've put it right up on there, and lots of people know about this. You want to actually buy it and be able to hold on to it. So you want to have your own like little basically it's like a big thumb drive, okay? And you can buy it. You can get them on. It's a hard wallet, and you actually buy. You plug it into your computer, and you would go to XRP's website and you would buy the XRP. Go to XLM's website, you buy the XLM. The Stellar. You'd go to wherever else, and you would buy those, and they would be stored on your hard wallet, so you actually own them. So if you're using like Coinbase, Uphold, Robinhood, and you've got your little debit card to spend with that, if those guys go belly up and they go broke, guess what? The money's gone.
All right.
All right, welcome back, folks. I actually took a little break there, had a call come in, and joining us now is my partner in crime, Figgy. How you doing, Figgy?
Pretty good. How are you? Hi, everybody.
Good. All right, now here's what I was talking about earlier. I kind of got Figgy up to speed. I kind of wanted to get this out there, and I was talking to Figgy about like what I was saying with the gold prices, with gold and silver and things going to be dropping, and how financially it would make more sense. I mean, I think you should have some gold and some silver. Sure, it's never a bad idea to be diverse. But at the end of the day, when it comes to gold and silver, even if you have $500,000 worth of gold or silver, you can't eat it and you can't drink it. You're going to want to have food supplies. You're going to want to have food storage and water storage. And I mean, many people all over, not just on YouTube, but even on the news, they're all talking about having food and water storage. There's a reason for that because everybody knows that the collapse is going to happen. I have food and I have water storage. I also have a way of heating my home just in case the power does go out and we have days of darkness where we can't do that. I mean, if you don't have money, how are you going to pay for your bill? If there's no money, how are you going to pay for your electric bill? How are you going to pay for your water bill? So you got to have those things. I've converted a 55-gallon steel drum into a wood burning stove. So, and I have a way for it to pipe the smoke out. So that way you can just have it inside the home to stay warm. And then it's piping out like a chimney. So it's always good to kind of think about that. Now to get back on like Figgy, for instance, Figgy, you've got a whole lot of stuff going on over there at your place. How many chickens did you say you had yesterday?
I do. I have about 50 chickens. I have some geese, and I'm letting them hatch out a few babies. I
Nice.
also have, the turkey is really just a pet, so he doesn't count.
He's
But
a pet
I have
until
a
Thanksgiving.
garden. he he's amazing. He's such a good little dog turkey.
Nice.
um, but I've planted a garden. I save all my seeds. I've harvesting the local berries, the wild berries that we have.
Uh-huh.
On a side note, I will say that my strawberry season is over, which is not typical, and blackberries are ripening and ready to harvest
That's
in
early.
in a large number. Yes, it's so early. That's
Yeah.
the end of them is at the usually the end of fall. So
Yeah.
that really kind of signifies to me that we're going to have an early winter.
Yeah. Cold, hard, dark. I think. Well, I think it's gonna. Well, not necessarily. Actually, I think it's gonna be warmer than what it has been. And the reason I say that is because of solar cycle 25. With it, I mean, and we're just getting to the ramp up part. I mean, we're way above. So, I mean, I have a feeling we're gonna have a very warm winter this year
Yeah,
for the
it's
next
going to
couple
be
years.
here sooner and a little bit weirder, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I've got everybody. I've got a task for everybody. Go
Oh
out
boy.
to your gardens and and start exploring the weeds that you've never really paid attention to or ones that you just started seeing. The last couple of weeks, well, probably more towards May, I started doing the garden and I noticed tons of new weeds that I've never seen before and or never paid attention to. Well, it turns out that these weeds are food or medicinal. And now other people from different areas of the United States are picking up on the same thing. So I'm curious to see what people find. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you're finding, what you're identifying, whether it's food or medicine, and if you've noticed it before or if it's just brand new.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of plants that have been popping up that people aren't familiar with. And some people like that are farmers or that are used to being out in their gardens and stuff, they're looking at stuff going, "Hey, I don't remember seeing this plant before." That's actually those
Yeah.
those those things have been popping up all over. I've actually seen some stories on people saying, "Yeah, there's these Chinese or Japanese weeds and they've never been here before. I didn't even know what it was and I had to look it up." And so it's got people perplexed, like, where are these things coming from? And some of these noxious weeds will actually take over your garden and kill your plants and stuff. So that's something. It's definitely something to leave a comment. Let us know if you're finding stuff in your area. So
Yeah.
we're back over here on the Three Gorges Dam. I was talking about Three Gorges Dam, and I was talking about the overflow. And when that thing breaks, because Bitcoin, a lot of people don't understand how cryptocurrency works and how they do crypto mining. You have to have electricity for mining of your cryptocurrencies. Okay, the Three Gorges Dam is what powers Bitcoin. Period. Period. When Three Gorges Dam goes, Bitcoin, anything that's attached to Bitcoin, it's all going down. It's all crashing. And right here, this is literally from yesterday. Three Gorges Dam, overflowing dam threatens 500 million downstream of it. Streets and dams are damaged. We're going to give this a little watch right here. I want you guys to seriously take a peek at this. This should kind of let you know what's going on.
Major flooding has forced the evacuation of tens of thousands of people in southern China,
Oop, sorry, let me turn that up.
with more rain expected. China regularly experiences flooding during the summer months, most frequently in central and southern areas that tend to receive the most rainfall. This year's flooding is the worst in decades in some areas and comes on top of strict COVID-19 regulations that have strangled travel, employment and ordinary life in much of the country. Hundreds of thousands of people have been evacuated from their homes in southern China, according to state media, amid floods and landslides triggered by the heaviest rainfall the region has seen in decades. In the low-lying Pearl River Basin, which encompasses Guangdong and Guangxi, the downpours have dangerously swelled some 54 waterways, threatening manufacturing, shipping and logistics operations at a time when supply chains are already stressed because of China's strict COVID-19 controls. In neighboring Guangxi region, muddy water was seen flooding urban areas and emergency rescue.
Now I'm hitting pause really quick. Can you guys fathom the damages that are being done? Hundreds of thousands have already been evacuated. All these people that are downstream, the Three Gorges Dam is full and overflowing. They've got them opened wide open and they can't keep up with it. It's going to go. I mean, especially the Three Gorges. It's not built like the Hoover Dam where it's like compressing onto itself to actually make it stronger. It's not that way. Okay, the Three Gorges Dam is not built like that. It's not going to keep up. It's going to eventually erupt. It's going to burst, and everything downstream, it's going to be absolute pandemonium. I mean, we're witnessing all of now. Think about this: all of these people that are now without homes to live. Where are they going to go? I mean, this is a catastrophic event. So on top of that, you've got the cryptocurrency Bitcoin being tied to the three, and everything attached to Bitcoin being tied to that. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to crash, and there's only going to be certain ones that are going to survive, those are going to be the ones that are ISO 2022 compliant, like XRP, XLM, lumens, stellar lumens, basically, stuff like that. So the currency, the way that things are going to, I have a feeling that we're going to be doing. There's going to be a lot of cryptocurrency. I do see it as a necessity, because if you think about cryptocurrency, the word crypto, that's death. The crypt keeper, death of currency, cryptocurrency, death of currency. That's what it is, and it's basically going to be the death of the fiat currency. Now, there's still going to be some cash transactions I see coming, but I see a lot of it being digital transactions. And that's the way that the whole globe is going to wind up moving forward, especially with international exchanges. Because like with XRP and XLM, it's literally instantaneous. If I like Figgy, if I was to send you some money from Texas to New York, or if I was to send some to somebody in South Africa, it's going to take 2 seconds and it's going to show up in your account. It's instantaneous, done. And instead of having to wait for 2 weeks for banks and to hold and all that kind of crap. So I see good potential in it. I don't see it as a bad thing to hold on to. But just make sure that you're buying ones that are ISO 2022 compliant and that are backed by assets. Now, once again, not myself nor Figgy are financial advisors. I'm just, as a normal person, looking at this in my logical mind, seeing it in that manner. So
I deal with chicken currency.
Chicken currency. Hey, there you go. Now, once again, now here's the other thing. If there's no electricity, right? If there's no electricity whatsoever, then what's the point of having crypto? You're going to want food currency. You're going to want to have that food and that water storage, like I've been talking about. So it's what?
Trades.
What's that?
Trades. People need to start learning some, trades. Learn your local herbs. Learn your local, vegetables, trees, things that are really simple. That they, my mom, she told me a really great, because I get overwhelmed just like everybody else.
Oh yeah.
And she made a good point. Just make it a point. Learn one a day or learn one a week. Learn one as you can, because in the end of all of whatever could happen, the worst is you're more knowledgeable, right? Or you are able to survive should something apocalyptic happen.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that I've been suggesting people to do for a long time is start a garden. Like right now, go start a garden.
Yes.
And right now is not the most optimal time for you to start your garden for growing. You want to start in the spring, but guess what? Go start it.
Yes.
Start learning. Even if you do an above ground, you want to do a raised one. Just get you some 1x12s and fill it in with actual topsoil and some potting soil and stuff, and start planting a garden. Do one row of like green beans, and then do another one of carrots, or whatever vegetables that that you're going to eat. Yeah, just whatever vegetables that you and your family are going to eat, and just start them. Make sure that you're watering them and feeding them. Check your pH. Start getting into it, because eventually you're going to want to know how to do it. Or you're not going to have food. So, and it's like I was also saying earlier, I've invested in some foreign currencies, and I when the revaluation happens, I plan on starting a community with a permaculture and a nice garden, with different flowers and vegetables and fruit-bearing trees and plants and stuff like that, grapevines, a nice pond with some fish in it, some chickens with a chicken coop, and using the fertilizer from the chickens and the water from the fish pond that's going to have, its own ecosystem, because that's fertilized water from all your fish poop, using that to water everything, water collection off of your drain pipes. Start getting into the habit. And when you have a community of individuals, like-minded individuals doing this, everybody thrives. And so if you have, let's say the Jacob of Ephraim community, and then you have the Figgy community. Let's just say that you live next door, you're the community next door. Yeah, exactly. And let's say that I'm growing certain vegetables that you're not, and you're growing vegetables that I'm not, and we just do even trade here for here. And that's how communities are going to really progress, and how people are going to not just survive, but to thrive and be more one with nature, one with earth, which is really where we need to be anyways, which is a very spiritual thing, because you're nurturing the plants, you're nurturing it so that it can turn around and give you nourishment as well. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Really, we just need a contingency plan. People need to have a contingency plan. And if you don't use it, great, right? Like everybody, great. What is the harm for you to build a plan should something happen? And it's not to be running around being fearful of anything, but also, just even growing the garden. You have fresh vegetables that you may. I hate gardening. I loathe it, believe it or not. But at the end of the day, when I'm out there picking my lettuce or, making homemade salsa from the garden, it tastes so much better.
Oh, yeah.
Because I did all of that work, and really they're better than what you get in the grocery store.
Well, exactly. Well, the thing is, and here's the thing, on a spiritual level, when we're talking about gardening and you're intimate with your garden, you're pulling the weeds and you're giving it its fertilizer, and you're watering it and you're nourishing it and you're talking to it like, hello, how are you? You are putting your love and energy and vibration into the plant, and the plant will feel it. I don't care who you are. And I'm not talking hokey pokey stuff here, folks. If you have plants, if those of you who have plants or gardens, and when you talk to your plants and you send them love, I love you, thank you so much for for being green and beautiful and all that, you will notice your plants will actually grow better. They're more green, they're more lustrous, their colors are more vibrant. It's the same thing with your gardening. But what you're doing is when you're giving it to that those kind of vibrations and energies and love frequencies to those plants, it's going to give it back to you in return, because you gave it to it. It's going to give it back to you in your nourishment. And you're, in a sense, you're giving yourself that love back by giving it to the plant. It returns back to you. And so your body will be healthier. Your body can be more alkaline. We need to, one of the other things, we really need to get away from the conventional diets of all the acidity and stuff that's in it, because it's bad. But that's where growing our own stuff that doesn't have any GMOs or any other kind of crap in it. We're just growing from heirlooms. You want to use heirloom seeds to grow the original vegetables, like the original carrots. I mean, you go to the store now, you see these carrots, they're like super long and they're kind of thin. That's not an actual heirloom carrot. You want to pictorially go back and look at a Bugs Bunny cartoon. They're about that long and they're fat. Just kind of give you an idea, because that's what carrots used to look like until they started doing all these modifications to them. But yeah, I really wanted to, I'm sorry,
I
go
will
ahead.
say that no, that's a really good one. Carrots grow really easily.
Oh yeah.
So that's another one I'll chime in there with. Your tomatoes and stuff, they can be a little tricky, at least for somebody like me who's really bad at gardening. Um, but your root vegetables are so easy. It's, so try it. Just try it, get out there, try it.
Oh yeah, carrots and potatoes, and most people eat potatoes anyways. Potatoes are actually relatively easy to grow. They're almost no maintenance. I've done plenty of potatoes. I've done plenty of carrots, cucumbers. I've done my own pickles. Grown the pickled cucumbers, made my own pickles,
You know, if
peppers.
you're
I
really
was hot
clever,
peppers, I do jalapenos, habaneros, grow them myself, pickle them. Oh, they're hotter when you pickle them yourself.
it
But yeah, get out and start experimenting with stuff. We
is.
need to
It's
get to
good
the
for
point where
you.
we can do that. I mean, we really do. You can buy bags of sulfur, for your garden. I actually have quite a bit of pure sulfur, and I also use it, and I mix it in with my charcoal, actual handmade charcoal, and I actually make my own black powdered firecrackers with it. You use sulfur.
Yeah.
And it's the stuff that you use for gardening. And I've got a whole bunch of it. And sulfur and with certain vegetables is very good. So just kind of start looking into it. Buy yourself a book and actually look into how to garden. How to start your own garden stuff. Get a book on it and start educating yourself and reading, and then go out and start applying. Because if you can have all the knowledge in here, but if you're not putting it to practice, you're not using wisdom. You just have knowledge, but you don't have the wisdom of it. Because every single year you'll have a different yield, a different product. It'll be a different ordeal every year, and every farmer will tell you this. And I've been around farmers my whole life. Every farmer will tell you this. Every growing year is different. There's no such thing as a similar year to this year. They're all different. So, and it's
Yes.
because of the soil, it's because of the heat and the water, how much water you're getting, the heat, how many thunderstorms. And a lot of people don't realize that thunderstorms with thunder and lightning is natural nitrogen. So when you have a thunderstorm rolling in, that's why, if you notice, your grass grows not just because of the rain, but it grows because it's getting that natural fertilizer of nitrogen. And that's like food for it, and it'll grow. And same thing with gardens. You want nitrogen. So there's a little information for everybody. That's why everybody's grass gets taller after thunderstorms, because of the nitrogen release from the lightning.
Nice.
Yeah. So what do you think about this whole financial thing with what I was saying with the gold and silver, with everything coming down? Do you think that's going to come down back to those prices once that inflation bubble pops, or what do you see happening with the price of gold and silver? What do you think?
I think at some point it's going to even out. Depending on which way we go in all of this, either there will be no financial system and it's going to be based off of trades and survival, very kind of primitive-esque.
Right.
Otherwise, I think, we are going to probably go back to something more solid like gold and silver. And eventually, yes, I mean, you can't be angry that you paid, $19,000 an ounce, however much it is. And then it drops down to, as you were saying, 700, because that whole system crashed. It doesn't mean anything anymore. And really you have a financial means, to purchase things. So just be happy. So I think really people need to be happy with what they have, and worry less about the money. I know that it's really stressful But that's what they want. They want us to be so stressed out about all the finances right now. So
Oh yeah, and everybody is, and that's why we're doing this video. Because I've been noticing a lot of people are getting stressed about it. It's really hitting mainstream media. It's hitting all kinds of channels. People are really talking about this financial thing, and I kind of wanted to put in my opinion on what's happening. And like I was saying, the gold and silver, it's going to pop and it's going to drop. Just plain
yeah,
with that inflation when it pops. Now, what I was saying to people earlier, I don't know if I mentioned this to you yet, but like I was saying, don't ever put money and purchase gold and silver at a investment broker for gold and silver, or at a dealer of gold and silver. You don't. I mean, that's the same as leaving it to the banks, because I mean, all of them will tell you the banks are the ones that are holding on to the gold and silver. They're the ones that have it. The dealers are the ones that just, they're like the middleman that goes between you and the bank for getting your gold and silver. So unless you're actually having it in your hand, I wouldn't put a single penny into it. It'd be no different than putting your money at the bank. Okay.
exactly.
And for those of you guys who are follow my channel regularly, we know that there's going to be a great solar flash. We know that we're going to get hammered. It's just a matter of time. And I think it's this solar cycle 25. We're going to get hammered with a huge X flare, X20 plus. We're talking like another Carrington event, like an X53, and it's going to take power out global. I mean, whichever side happens to be facing the earth, that happens to be facing the sun when that thing goes off, that whole side is done. Like power grids, shot down, EMPs, vehicles are going to melt. It's going to be done and over. Okay, now on the other side, you're going to have the residual of those that are connected to that. But, some things are going to be okay, but it's going to take a long time for infrastructure to get put back in place. So what's going to happen with all that crypto? I wouldn't have a whole lot invested in the crypto myself, personally. That's just my opinion, because when you have no power, because grids are down because of a huge solar flare, now on top of let's say a major X53 comes and flashes on that side of the earth, that coronal mass ejection is going to be coming right behind it. So you got the flash, now comes the plasma from the coronal mass ejection. So in coronal mass ejections, we can be an event for up to 12 hours. Sometimes it can, and if you're getting a big, powerful X flare, it's actually going to be on top of us real quick. We're talking within hours or minutes. Like, no joke. We're talking very short amount of time for that plasma to reach Earth. And yeah, then we're really going to have a problem. So, and plasma can actually completely wrap around. I mean, if you're talking about a huge ribbon of plasma, you got the flash, that plasma can come around and whoosh, and it can absolutely wrap around and hit all sides of the Earth. So the whole daggum planet could be without power, literally melted. All your power lines, all your stinking satellites, they're coming down. It's going to look like hellfire from Earth, plain and simple. Because
I
they
am
have no way
buying.
of keeping themselves in space. They're melted. All their circuits, everything's fried, and they're just going to be tumbling around. And here they come, crashing into each other, coming down. The ISS. Oh yeah, they're done. I'm surprised if I would be surprised if there's people in the ISS right now. I wouldn't want to be up there. No.
So you're telling me there's hope for fire rain?
Yes, there is absolute hope for fire and rain, fiery rain from the heavens. Yes, there's absolute hope for that. On top
I am
of
by
that,
no.
on top of that, we know that CERN is firing back up on July 5th. Funny enough, and it's going to be running at 4 times the speed as what it was before, with colliding particles over double the size. So yeah, using that huge old magnet that they shipped to France, which is CERN also goes into France. Yeah, we're talking magnetism. So they could be pulling. I mean, the magnet is 100,000 times stronger than the magnetic field of Earth. Any kind of meteors or asteroids going by, if that thing's fired up, they're going to be pulling that thing right down into it. So folks, just in essence, try to make sure to be diverse. Yes, buy some cryptocurrency. I would say buy some XRP and some XLM. We know those are backed by gold and silver. I'm not saying spend a whole crap ton of money, but actually own it. Have it on a hard digital wallet where you actually own it and it's on yours. So that way, if not using Coinbase or Robinhood or Uphold, and actually, believe it or not, I have Uphold and Robinhood, and I've got a little bit on that. Not a lot. I've got like $50, just kind of tinkering with it. Okay, but you want to actually have it, own it, and hold it, because when things come back on, things will be done digitally. Plain and simple, they're going to be done digitally. We are still going to have a currency, the rainbow currency. You can look it up on YouTube. Actually, I can actually, you know what? Let me bring that up really quick. Hold on.
I see.
Okay, here we are, folks, and here it is. We're looking at a complete new look to U.S. money. This is the rainbow currency that I was talking to you guys about. Okay, and this is going to be the new currency, because there is going to be some currency that's going to have to be used. Yes. So we're going to watch this. Just a little bit of it. I'm going to try and get it to where they showing, because this actually goes into, yeah, here we go. Look at this.
Wow, let's just look at the changes to the bills.
I'm just going to hit pause real quick. What do you think of that figure when you see that?
I don't know. I don't know. It's pretty patriotic, I'll say that.
Oh, absolutely. But if you look here, do you see this? Thomas Jefferson, that is gold inlay
Oh yeah, it
inside of it.
does look like that, doesn't it?
Yep, and the gold is right here as well. So you're going to have
Actual
actual
money.
gold and silver inside of the bills, and they're going to be they're holographic. These are literally completely impossible to duplicate. You cannot counterfeit these bills whatsoever.
And
I'm
you
hoping.
really think that we're going this way, huh?
What's that?
I said, and you really think that this is actually something we're gonna get, huh?
Yeah, I've actually already put my hands on it and touched it. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually when I was in Oklahoma, I went down to Bank of Oklahoma corporate office and I asked them to see some of the rainbow currency, and this is exactly what they brought out. Here's a $1 bill, George Washington, gold right there. I mean, look at
Wow.
all the intricate details. There's no way for this to be duplicated, and that's one of the things I wanted to show everybody. Is like this is the money we're going to be getting to, and this is it under a black light. How are you going to duplicate that? So we are
Yeah.
still going to have some form of currency. There's also going to be coins that we're going to have as well, and that's the nice thing about it is that there's going to be coins, and there's so no matter where you go, and the same thing with the now. If you notice here, it says $5. You got the number five on it. All currency is going to have the number on it, so it doesn't matter where you go, wherever I happen to go with currency, and I go to spend five. If it's £5 in England, it'll be $5 US. If I go to China, and it's 5 yuan, it'll be 5 US because the number five is there. It's all interchangeable no matter where you're at. So that's one of the nice things that's about this. And so, like I said, I've actually held on to this currency in my hand. It's real. It's thicker than a dollar bill, than a regular dollar bill that we have. It's because it is kind of holographic. It's got like a little bit of plastic sealant, basically, on the outside of the paper, and you have to be able to seal the gold and silver inlays that are written inside of it, and you can't take it out either. The way that they've done it, and they've done it really brilliant. I mean, the U.S. spent a pretty penny to make these bills. I promise you that. So these are really cool looking, and these are what's going to be coming out. So when the pop happens, this is going to be replacing it, and you're going to be able to get your dollar for dollar, like I was saying. So when you have your let's say that you have 5,000 U.S. Treasury notes, fiat money, and you go to exchange it, you're going to get the same amount in your rainbow currency. And so that's why I think putting your money on a lot of gold and or silver to me is silly, because you're going to get your dollar for dollar here, and you're going to have more buying power just by holding on to the daggum currency versus the gold and silver. Now, do I think we should have some gold and silver? Sure, because like I said, diverse, because nobody knows exactly the way this is going to go. I don't know. This is just my opinion. So gold and silver, we don't know exactly how it's going to go with gold and silver. Gold and silver could be, it could be, the silver is going to go up eventually because there's less silver than there is gold, supply and demand. And anybody that knows about the silver manipulation knows, you want to have some silver, because buying it now actually isn't a bad idea. It's going to come down when the bubble pops, but then it's going to climb back up, because then, everybody's going to know, oh crap, silver manipulation, and silver's going to start climbing, and it's going to go way high until they can start mining it. So I don't think it's a bad idea to have your hands on it. So yeah, these are the layers here, like I was telling you about. Here's the paper in the middle, and then you got your plastic sealant, if you want to call it plastic sealant, on the outside that stores the gold. It's a brilliant idea. Whoever come up with it, they did a really good job. I mean, can you imagine that, everybody? This being the U.S. dollar, or the U.S. actually is going to be it'd be Treasury notes based out of the U.S. Treasury, not the IRS. And it's not going to be out of the fiat, all that Bank of England kind of crap. It's going to be straight out U.S. Treasury notes, and this is what we're looking at. And they are absolutely awesome looking. At least I think so. Do you think these are pretty cool looking?
They are. They look pretty cool. I think that, it would be an interesting new twist on things to see this launch.
Oh yeah.
In the meantime, I am ascribing to the self-sufficiency motto.
Oh, absolutely. That's why it's a good idea to be diverse. Like
yeah.
you've got a leg up, you've got your garden, you've got some chickens. You're trying to be diversified and being able to just feed yourself. I mean, and if anything, here's the thing: if anything, folks, you get your garden going, you get a decent garden, and you're growing a lot of your own vegetables and stuff. And let's say that you get some chickens and you're getting eggs. How much money are you saving on food right now? How much are you going to save? You're going to save a butt
Oh
ton.
yeah.
I mean,
But
if
I
you're
mean,
growing your own
eggs
vegetables,
alone right now are
getting them to
$5
save
a
them.
gallon or a dozen.
Yeah, exactly. Eggs, same thing. Yeah, exactly. And then you got your own eggs. You're saving money just by growing your own vegetables and having chickens and you can use
Yes.
chicken poop for your fertilizer for your garden. So it's kind of like a win-win-win.
I will put a good note out there for people. They are a bit of work. You do have to work to keep them happy and healthy,
Mm.
in order to get eggs. So I'm not by any means, disclaimer, do not rush out and just buy chicks or
Right.
chickens
Do a little
and think
homework,
that
folks.
it's easy.
Always do a little homework before you go and do it. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you don't want to harm the chickens either. Not only do you not want to be out chickens, but you don't want to harm the chickens either and do bad for them because you didn't have the knowledge on how to take care of them. You always want to do a
Exactly.
little research for yourself, so that way you're bettering them and bettering yourselves, so that everything can be better. So, anyways, that's our little tidbit for today, folks. I hope everybody got a little bit of information out of this, and I hope that it helps everyone. We love you. That's why we do this, because we love everybody and we want everybody to understand and have some understanding on things to come and to kind of start preparing yourselves. I mean, really, we should have been preparing anyways. So, anyways, God bless everybody. Have it and be safe. Keep your eyes open. No fear, and remember that love is the only way forward. So stay safe out there, folks. Hope everybody got some good use out of this. Remember, you're loved.